This is the Practice of Therapy podcast with Gordon Brewer, helping you to navigate your private practice journey. This is session number 107 of the Practice of Therapy podcast. Hello, everyone. I'm Gordon Brewer, and welcome to the podcast. If this is your first time listening in, glad you found us. Glad that you're listening in. And if you're coming back for more, glad you're back. And hopefully you've subscribed to the podcast wherever you might be listening to it, whether it be on Apple Podcasts or iTunes or Stitcher or Google Play or iHeartRadio, Spotify, just to name a few. Hope you've been able to subscribe there and will listen to every episode that you can. And also go back and listen to some of the older episodes. There's a lot there now. There's 107 of them, as a matter of fact, including this one. So I hope you made it through the Thanksgiving holiday kind of unscathed. It was a different year for us. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But here we are already into December, and boy, it's hard to believe we're already almost through 2019. And it's been a really interesting year for me personally. Just a lot of trials and tribulations just with my wife's health and my dad's health and taking care of all those family things. I just wanted to mention that this episode's coming out a little bit late. Unfortunately, my dad passed away on Thanksgiving Day, and it was I think when death occurs, it's certainly a time for grief, certainly a time for, just reflecting on people's lives. And I'm so grateful for my dad's life. And I'm not going to say too much because I'll tear up here. But anyway, he was a wonderful dad, wonderful man, and certainly shaped who I am and just all of that. So bear with me as I go through this season of my life. And I'm sure some of you out there can understand because you've been through similar things. And I don't want to be too much of a downer here, but just wanted to share that part of things, part of my life, because that's just what I do here on the podcast. Wanted to make you aware that we've got, with it coming to the end of the year here, we're getting ready to head into tax season. And so next week on December the 11th, I'm teaming up with Julie Harris from Green Oak Accounting, and we're doing another webinar on preparing for tax season. And so looking forward to doing that with Julie. If you're not prepared for tax season, it could be kind of scary for some folks, especially if this is your first time to do it as a private practice owner. But looking forward for you to hear from Julie and just some of her expertise around taxes and what we need to know in terms of making tax deductions and maybe some tax deductions you didn't know about, and also just learning some of the common mistakes that people tend to make when it comes to their income taxes, particularly when you move from being employed to self-employed. There are some things that change, and you need to know about that. So if you'll go over to practiceoftherapy.com/tax webinar, you can register for that, and it's a free webinar. And even if you're not able to join us that day for the webinar, sign up anyway, because that way you'll get access to the replay when we get that ready. So be sure to do that. practiceoftherapy.com/tax webinar. So I look forward to hopefully seeing you there or having you there with us. So on today's episode of The Practice, we've got a return guest, the one and only Perry Rosenbloom from Brighter Vision. And I got to spend a little time with Perry back in October out in Colorado at Killing It Camp. And I was so excited to learn about a new product that they've got out, the folks at Brighter Vision, called Social Genie. And when he showed me that product and demonstrated it to me, I said, Perry, I got to have you back on the podcast because I think folks would just be really excited about this. Essentially, what they've developed is a new application or software that really automates your social media in a way that you're just going to be blown away by. They've also got a library of content just ready-made to use and customize to your practice. So I'm looking forward to you hearing from Perry about that. Perry was a guest on episode, I believe, 59 of the podcast, where he talked about Brighter Vision and just their expertise around helping practices brand their practice, and really their expertise is in helping you market your practice online and really creating a really strong online presence, which is just so essential in this day and age and what we need for our practices. So without further ado, here's my friend Perry Rosenbloom from Brighter Vision. If you love dreaming about growing your practice but feel a disconnect between where you are now and where you want to be, I've got a friend who can help you. Julie Harris and her team at Green Oak Accounting can translate your action plan into your profit and loss statement. If you're behind on your books or need someone on your financial team who really understands private practice, schedule a free consultation by going to www.greenoakaccounting.com. That's www.greenoakaccounting.com. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome again to the Practice of Therapy podcast. And I'm so happy to have with me again Perry Rosenbloom from Brighter Vision. And Perry, welcome back.
Thank you so much. So excited to be here, Gordon. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Perry and I got to hang out just briefly out in his home state of Colorado back in October at Killing It Camp, and it was just a blast.
It was pretty cold up there that time of year, wasn't it?
It was.
A little more snow than we expected.
Yeah, right. It was, I wasn't really prepared for that. And also the altitude, I'm sure you're acclimated to it where you are. But anyway, that was a surprise for me. But anyway, one of the reasons I wanted to have Perry back on the podcast, Brighter Vision has come out with a new product that is just so exciting. And Perry gave me a demo of it at Killing It Camp and just blew my mind with this new social Genie that they've come out with that has just really absolutely taken posting of social media to the next level in my mind anyway. So,
well, thank you, Gordon.
Yeah, it's really just something that I think most of you are going to be interested in. So, Perry, why don't you start by, for maybe the folks that don't know about Brighter Vision, first of all, just tell them a little bit about your company and how you started it. And then I really want you to tell folks about this new social Genie.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, Gordon, thank you for having me, and hello to all you listeners. My name, as Gordon said, I'm Perry Rosenbloom. I'm the CEO and founder of Brighter Vision. That's at brightervision.com. And, basically we make marketing simple for therapists. We have, close to 5,000 therapists on our platforms that entrust us with, the marketing, the branding, and the digital presence of their private practice. So, our bread and butter are our websites. With Brighter Vision, you get a website that looks like you spent a few $1,000s, but you only spend $2 a day. And it's not, this do-it-yourself cookie cutter template kind of stuff. It's working very closely with the design team to understand who you are, what types of clients you love working with, and then we craft you a website and design you a website that's really going to resonate with the clients you do your best work with. And so we've been at this at Brighter Vision for about 5 years now. Started the company, really after working with my mother-in-law and seeing she owns a private practice in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm like, man, Cindy, you got 8 therapists working for you. You've been in business for 20 years. And this is your digital presence? And I'm like, come on, we got to take this up a notch. And so I started doing some more work with some more research into therapists and the market in general. It's just like, wow, we can really do a lot to help this market out here. And I had a web design business at the time, an SEO business, and just really started learning more about therapists and behavioral health, and really shifted gears with our products to focus exclusively on therapists. And I had this crazy idea that we could build websites at an agency like caliber, an agency like quality, websites we used to charge $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for. And if we focus just on one industry, we'd be able to deliver that same quality product at a fraction of the cost. 5 years later, we've been successful at it. It was a long, strange trip for sure, but we have an office here in Colorado, 26 or 27 employees here, and just doing a lot of great work and having a lot of fun working with our clients.
Yeah, the websites are absolutely beautiful. It's and I can't say enough about being able to work with Brighter Vision, because they really, I think a lot of therapists and counselors are just really kind of intimidated sometimes around the tech stuff. And some of them, quite frankly, just don't want to have to spend all the time to put into designing all of that. And the price point is just incredible. You're not going to get something of this quality at this price point from anywhere else. So I'll just put those 2 cents in there. So, but one of the things that Perry showed me when I was in Colorado is this new
Social Genie.
Yes, it's amazing. And you want to just I know it's kind of hard to do, just through audio, but you want to try to walk people through what the does.
Absolutely is. So, one of the advantages we have is that we work with thousands of therapists. And because we work just in behavioral health, we get to understand the needs of this community from a marketing standpoint better than anybody else. So we understand, where are therapists struggling with marketing their private practice and growing their private practice. And so we spent about 6 months talking with a ton of therapists, understanding, how they utilize social media and what the big pain points are. And then we set about to build this product called Social Genie. And Social Genie, in essence, in about 15 minutes of work, you can set up all of your social media for 3 to 6 months. Literally 15 minutes of work. So we have a collection of thousands of social media posts that our team has written. You're able to edit them, customize them however you want, write your own posts, and all these posts are organized into various collections. So let's say you work with couples. You could log into Social Genie for the first time and take a campaign on couples, take another campaign on couples, take a campaign on divorce, take a campaign on infidelity, let's say, put those all together, and let's say they each have 90 to 120 posts in them. And you can set a schedule up to publish them to Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, however you want them to be done. And then that literally will take you about 15 minutes of work. You can then type in your website URL and have that URL added to every single social media post, so you're driving people back to your website. You can also upload your logo and have your logo embedded on all of the images, so you keep your branding front and center, because that's really what social media is about, is positioning yourself as an authority and starting conversations. So with those two things there, 15 minutes of work, all your branding and social media work done, driving people back to your website, keep your brand front and center, position yourself as an expert. That's all done in just 15 minutes of work through Social Genie. And we have clients who will spend hours on there because they want to customize it completely. But if you want to, you can just spend 15 minutes and be done with social media for a few months. Right. And then 15 minutes a few months later and be done with social media for a few months.
Wow. Yeah, and it's amazing to see, and the library of posts and articles and that sort of thing that you've got is just phenomenal. I'm amazed that you are able to pull all those things together to have a library that's so extensive of different types of posts on different topics, different niches. I don't know that there's any niche that you left out.
Yeah, we really run the gamut there in terms of a variety of niches. And what's really cool is our clients can request content. And we're going to make it directly through the application soon. You can request content and what you want us to write on, and we'll write on that. So we'll be able to, if we don't have content on a specific topic, we're going to set about and create that for you.
Right. Just curious, how did you pull all this together? I mean, obviously you've got a great team of folks, and I'm just being a little bit of a tech geek. I'm just curious how you are able to pull all this content together.
In terms of like actually getting the content for social media posts?
Yes, right.
So we have a team of writers here who work on that. And we have trusted resources that we utilize. So a lot of the content is, some of it's like inspirational quotes, but a lot of it is referencing really great articles out there. So articles that might be on Psychology Today or from the New York Times or Washington Post or TED Talks. And you can see the source of where the links are linking to in every single post without having to click off. So what content you're actually linking out to for your users. And you can say, I don't really like that article or that source. I'm going to just remove that post from the campaign. You click an X and it goes away. Super easy to use, super easy to navigate.
Yeah. And what's, being able to automate something like that is just like you said, is going to save so much time. I love social media, but I know just even in my own practice, being able to try to find things to post or find things that are of interest to potential clients, that sort of thing, is just very time consuming, not to mention, maybe coming up with the graphics for those posts and all of that sort of thing. Yeah.
So we integrate with Unsplash, or Social Genie integrates with Unsplash, and all the photos are from Unsplash. You can also search Unsplash directly in the application and replace any of the photos you want. Again, our idea is we want to make it super simple for you, so you don't need to spend much time. But if you want to spend a lot of time, it's all at your fingertips and super easy to do.
Right. Yeah, it's just and just the ease of using it, just the way you've got the calendar set up in there, and just go in and you just a few clicks away of just making it. You can sleep at night knowing that things are getting out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So one of the things that I know, Perry, that you part of you being at Killing It Camp that people have heard me talk a lot about was the fact that you did a presentation on SEO. And so do you mind explaining to folks maybe a little bit about, I know a big part of our audience, some people have a lot of knowledge of SEO, and we're talking about search engine optimization and why that's so important, not only for your website, but just for your practice in general. Yeah. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So before I hop into that, if you're interested in learning more about Social Genie, you can get a 2-week free trial over at socialgenie.brightervision.com. You can also find it on brightervision.com. And again, you can get a 2-week free trial there at socialgenie.brightervision.com.
Right.
So search
and we'll have links in the show notes too. Yeah, for all that. So yeah. Go ahead, Perry.
Yeah. Before Brighter Vision was Brighter Vision, I had an SEO company. And so, I gave a presentation with Jessica Tapana at Killing It Camp on SEO and just kind of like the best practices. And, for your audience, if you're not too familiar with search engine optimization, the idea is when you do search engine optimization, it's about providing content to Google that is relevant for what your people are searching for. So for example, if I'm searching for a play therapist in Boulder, Google doesn't want to display information for, someone who specializes in trauma in Boulder and doesn't work with children at all. They want to show content on play therapists in Boulder. So when you're thinking about your search engine optimization strategy and how to get more clients in the door through your website, you want to start off by thinking about, okay, what services or specialties do I have that people might be searching for? And just like write those down on a piece of paper. And then the next thing you want to do is actually go about and write a specific page for your website on each of those individual specialties or services. And that right there is going to do wonders for your search engine optimization. If you're already a Brighter Vision client, you can just email us and we'll go ahead and further SEOify those specialty pages. But if you're not, there's some really great resources out there on how to write good SEO, like good title tags, which are those blue clickable links in Google, and good descriptions, which are those words beneath them. And so, by focusing on specialty pages, on who you work with, how you work with them, and where you work with them, you're going to be able to rank much higher in Google and get more folks in the door at your private practice.
Right. And that's that I've not only heard that from you, I've heard it from just even, I was listening to another podcast earlier this week, and it was probably Pat Flynn, and they were talking about SEO and same kind of concepts, just understanding, what Google is looking for, having a little bit of an understanding of their algorithm, which constantly changes, and that is so important. And the thing about what you guys are doing at Brighter Vision is that you're taking a lot of that work out of it for people, and that their sites are going to rank well once they get them started.
That's really our goal here. We want to be able to build you a beautiful brand, build you a fantastic presence online, and allow you to focus on seeing clients and networking and growing your business, not having to worry about marketing yourself online and the digital presence. Our team takes care of all of that for our clients.
Yes. Yeah, you want to tell us maybe a little too about the process that people would go through when they start working with you all on their website.
Yeah, absolutely. So when a client signs up with us at Brighter Vision, you get assigned to a design team, and you then fill out a basic, design onboarding intake form. That gives us a sense of who you are. It allows you to tell us what colors you like, what sites of ours you like, tells us who you are as a clinician, what types of clients you love working with. Typically takes like 20 minutes or so. And then once you submit that, our team will build you a first draft of your website in about 2 weeks. And then we go through a revision process where you're able to speak on the phone and do screen shares with your design team to really edit the website exactly the way you want. And we also offer essentially like a sticky notes for your website. So where you can click on your website and leave us a sticky note, and we see where you clicked and what that note is. So we really get to understand, what changes you want and how you want them done without, a ton of back and forth emails, because nobody wants to be emailing back and forth to communicate things. And so, the whole process with us typically takes about 3 to 4 weeks. And then once you're totally happy with your website, you get unlimited technical support from our support team here in Colorado. We have a team of, I think our support team is now like 8 people. So Monday through Friday, 8 people there to take care of you, and you're able to make any changes you want on your website. But most of our clients, they don't want to make the changes. They don't have the time to make the changes. So they just email us and we take care of it for them. It's like you have a digital team on your side every single day helping you, thrive online.
Right. And the one thing that I love about that is that you guys really take the time, spend the time with people to really learn about the therapist and their practice, and really help them put a website out that really represents who they are and comes across as genuine or is genuine with potential clients. And that's
our goal.
Yeah, that's the and that's, I think, when people go to pick a therapist, they want to be able to find someone that resonates with them and really represents, who they want to work with. And so
Absolutely.
yeah. So
You need a website that's, your potential clients, they need to know, like, and trust you within 5 seconds of arriving on your website.
Yes.
And that's what we do. We build that know, like, and trust factor up with your potential clients.
Right. And the thing is that you guys have been doing it long enough and have and worked with enough therapists, you really know what works and what doesn't. And so that's
we certainly do. We build more websites for therapists every single month than most people have ever built in their entire, any company has ever built, really.
Right.
Our most senior designer, Andrew, who's been with us since day one, I think he alone has built over 2,500 therapist websites.
Wow.
So we just understand what works here, what doesn't, and we're able to apply those lessons and best practices to your business.
Right. Well, yeah, it's certainly go check it out. And really I would encourage folks to go over and try out Social Genie and just
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
really just give it a shot, see how it works for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's a win-win situation, and that you can try it out for free for 2 weeks. That's awesome. So,
and if you're interested in learning more about the websites too, we can give you a free month over at brightervision.com/try/Gordon to get your free month to Brighter Vision, or just head on over to the website, drop us a line, say you heard me on the podcast, and we'd be happy to give you a month free so you can try out our service and see if it works well for you in your practice.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, Perry, I want to be mindful of your time, and I appreciate you coming back on the podcast to talk about social.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and so the other thing too is I would really say the other thing I want people to know about is your podcast, The Therapist Experience, an excellent podcast of being able to hear people's stories and just learn from other therapists and what they've done in their practices. So we'll have links to all of this in our show notes and show summary, and do check them out.
Oh, well, thanks a lot, Gordon. And thanks for having me on here. And I hope your audience, hope you all enjoyed the show and got some value out of things today.
Yeah, I think everyone will. And I'm sure you all will be hearing from Perry again as more and more exciting things come up. So thanks, Perry, for joining me.
Oh, my pleasure, Gordon. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Well, I hope you enjoyed hearing from Perry and learning about Social Genie and this new application they've got out over at Brighter Vision. It's just pretty exciting stuff to see what they've put together, and just particularly that whole library of content. It just takes so much work out of being able to post on social media and really put yourself out there as an expert in our fields and our different niches and that sort of thing. It's just an amazing thing. And when like I've said already, when I saw this demonstrated for me, it just blew me away about how easy it is to use and how much work it's going to save you. And be sure to check out Brighter Vision, and there'll be links in the show notes. You can go to brightervision.com/Gordon and use the coupon code Gordon, I believe is what it is. I'll make sure that's in the show notes, and you can get some discounts off of their services. So be sure and check them out. They're great folks, and Perry is just a delight to get to know. And really, all of the people he has on his team there at Brighter Vision are great folks and really worth spending the time to get to know. Also, be sure and check out today's sponsors for the podcast. Green Oak Accounting. And speaking of Green Oak Accounting, their team, along with Julie Harris, does a wonderful job of helping people just navigate the whole financial side of private practice. And be sure and join me and Julie when we do our live webinar just on the preparing for tax season that's coming up pretty quickly here. When I looked at my calendar, depending on when you're listening to this, it's just going to be next week. So be sure to join us for that. And if you'll go to practiceoftherapy.com/tax webinar, you can sign up for that free webinar. And even if you're not able to join us on that day, be sure to sign up anyway so you can get the replay. Also, be sure to check out our other sponsor for today's podcast, and that's TherapyNotes. TherapyNotes is absolutely the premier provider of electronic health record systems. They're who I use in my practice, and I couldn't do my practice without them. And so if you'll go over to therapynotes.com, and if you'll use the coupon code Gordon, you can get 2 months free of their services and try them out. There's really no risk in doing it. So be sure to check them out. Well, I hope you have a good rest of your week and rest of your weekend whenever you might be listening to the podcast. And as I said at the beginning, be sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you might be listening to it. And I'm so glad you're joining me on this journey. So take care, folks, and we'll be talking with you hopefully next week. Bye-bye. Been listening to the Practice of Therapy podcast with Gordon Brewer. Please visit us at practiceoftherapy.com for more information, resources, and tools to help you in starting, building, and growing your private practice. And if you haven't done so already, please sign up to receive the free private practice startup guide at practiceoftherapy.com. The information in this podcast is intended to be accurate and authoritative concerning the subject matter covered. It is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, or producers are rendering legal, accounting, or clinical advice. If you need a professional, you should find the right person for that.